Hello beautiful people, you are welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you for always checking on this channel for more content. So I saw the video of this dress and decided to recreate it for my daughter's graduation. My recreation is this one, and please watch through to the end to see how I made it, and remember to give me a thumbs up. Let's go into the video. The material I use: 1 yard of off-white Duchess, 1 yard of black Duchess, a hard net 2 yards, and my lining 1 yard. So I'll start by folding my fabric. I want to cut directly on the fabric, and I folded my front and the back pattern together. So I marked my zipper allowance, and I'm marking my starting line right now. And the first thing is to take the half length of the dress, which is 9.5, plus ½ inch allowance, which I'll be using to join it to the skirt part. Also, I'm just drafting out the basic bodice now. I will mark that line, and I'll go over to the shoulder and put half of my shoulder measurement, which is 4.5, and on that line I'll come down by ½ inch for my shoulder slant. I'll take 2 inches for the neck width and 2.5 for the neck depth for the front, and 1 inch for the neck depth for the back. This part is actually not necessary, but I want us to draft a basic bodice before going into the main style. So I'll connect my point, I'll connect to the ½ inch slope, and from there I'll come down by my half round armhole, and I'll mark it. I'll take that line and turn it into a straight line. So what I have on my shoulder, I will input it on my chest line, and I'll connect the lines. So on this line I will put quarter of my chest circumference, which is 5.5, and 1 inch seam allowance. I will repeat the same thing on the waistline, and I will join them together. So I'll move over to my armhole depth and find the midpoint. From the midpoint I'll come in by ½ inch, and I'll join it to my measurement, the one on my chest and the one on my shoulder. So at this point my basic bodice is ready. If I am using it like this, I'll just add ½ inch to the shoulder, but because I want it as an off shoulder, I'll come down by 3 inches, but because I'm cutting directly on my fabric, I'm coming down by 2.5 inches, so that I will use my ½ inch as my seam allowance. So after sewing it, it will be off shoulder by 3 inches. So I'll mark that. This is the line I'll be using right now. The other parts are not necessary again. So on this part, I would want the neckline to be 2 inches. I'll mark my neckline 2 inches, and I want my strap to be 1 inch. I'll mark it 1 inch, and what will be remaining is just 1 inch. From that 1 inch, I will use ½ inch to sew the armhole. It will be remaining ½ inch, so I'll just leave it like that. So if you are doing a sweetheart neckline, just come down by 1 inch from the front part and connect it. But I'm not doing a sweetheart neckline. I'll just cut it out the way it is. So after cutting it out, this is how it looks, and I will label as my front and my back. So on the back, I will come up by ½ inch from the waistline and connect it straight to the side seam. This is to eliminate zip bulge and make the back relax properly. So I'll go ahead and trim it off. So if you want a deeper neckline for the back, you can come down by 1 inch or 2 inches, but I do not want, I want it to be as straight as the front, so I will leave it like that. So it's up to you, anyone you want, deeper or just straight. So I'll just notch my zipper allowance, and if I open up my pattern, this is what I have for the front and for the back. So I will take this and cut on my Duchess as well. So after cutting on my Duchess, I have it like so, and I'll place it right side facing each other, and I'll sew with 1 inch seam allowance that I left while drafting. I will do the same thing to the lining. And for my strap, I would remember my off shoulder was 3 inches, so I'll add half an inch, that is 3.5. Is on fold, that is 7 inches if it is not on fold. So I want the down part of my strap to be tapered, but the midpoint should be a bit wider than the down point. So I will fold it in like so. I'll fold it in, and on that midpoint I'll measure from the down point. Rather, I'll measure 0.75, that is 3/4 of an inch, 0.75, and on the midpoint I'll measure 1 inch. I'll connect the two lines. So but you just want a straight strap, it's up to you. Just measure out 1.5 inch all through, or 1.25, because I'm sewing with 0.25 actually. So what I have now, if I open it up and measure, that midpoint will be 2 inches and the down part will be 1.5 inches. So after sewing with 0.25 all around, I'll be left with a midpoint of 1.5 and the down part of 1 inch. So I'm placing it on another pattern and I'm cutting it. So I'll sew around and turn it inside out. I'll sew 2 each for each strap. So after sewing it, this is what I have. Look at my strap. The down part is a bit slimmer than the midpoint, and I've ironed my seam open both on my lining and on my Duchess fabric. So I will take my strap and place it at that edge, leaving about ½ inch or 1 inch at the edge so that I'll be able to join my armhole. I'll place the second one as well, and I'll sew it. I'll take it, match it very well to the back part and do the same. Place it, leave the allowance you used to sew on the edges, on the armhole, and tack it down. Then after doing this, I will bring in my lining and place on top, pushing that strap in very well, and sew on the neckline and on the armhole. Make sure you're not sewing on the strap from one zip end to the other. So this is what I have after sewing it and ironing it. I top stitched on the neckline. So for my fabric flower, I want 3 layers of my fabric flower. So the first layer will be longer. I'll just fold my fabric and rule a line, and I want the length to be 5 inches, but since I'll be hemming it, I'll be sewing it with ½ an inch, so I will mark out 5.5 inches. This is the longest length of 5.5 inches. After sewing, it will be 5 inches. So I will rule it straight, and on the upper part I will take 2.5 inches. On the down part it will be smaller. I will take 2 inches. I just made mistake, so I will retake it 2 inches, and I will join the two lines. I will join it with a straight ruler before getting my curve. So the up is 2.5, the down is 2 inches. So from there I'll just trace out my curve. I'll trace it out, and if I measure it's about 1 inch, so I'll trace it out well and cut it out. This is the biggest length of my petal. So this is what it looks like. And for the medium, the second part, I will fold my fabric again. I want the difference between the first and the second to be just 1 inch. I want them to be longer with 1 inch or shorter with 1 inch. So since I did 5.5 in the first one, I will do 4.5 on this one as well. So I'll just mark out a straight line, the same 2.5 inches on the upper line and 2 inches on the down line. I'll join the line and trace out my curve from that edge. The difference is just 1 inch. So I will cut it out as well and move over to the third pattern, which will be the smallest. So for that one, since this one is 4.5, I will be doing 3.5. So the first one after sewing will be 5 inches, the second one after sewing will be 4 inches, and this one after sewing will be 3 inches. So I just marked out 3.5 and I'm marking 2.5 at the upper part and 2 inches. I will connect it and I'll likewise trace out my cover, the edge, and cut it out. So this smaller one, I'll cut 6 pieces of it, while the medium one I'll cut 10 pieces, and the biggest one I'll cut 14 pieces. So this one, the measurements are on the screen. So I'll take this and cut out on my off-white Duchess. Look at it, the difference is just 1 inch for the 3 of them. I'll cut it out, and I've cut it out right now, and I ironed an interfacing on it, a light fabric interfacing. You can use a paper stay as well, but I use the fabric interfacing. So for the biggest one, you just place it together and run your stitches round, likewise on all of them. So after doing that, this is what I have. You trim off the excesses or notch them, and you turn it inside out. So for the smaller one, like I said, you cut out 6. The medium one you cut out 10. The biggest one you cut out 14. So after doing that, you have to just pleat on the down parts and secure it. Do it on all of them and secure it. And after doing that, I've already arranged my first layer, which is 7. Then I'll show you how to do it on this one, which will be 5. So just place it together, let them overlap, let each of them overlap. You arrange it. As you are overlapping it, you are trying to make it form a circle. You are forming a circle, and each of them will overlap very well on each other, and the final one you will drag it to make it overlap on the first one. So after doing this, take to your sewing machine and sew round, and you can notice the circle on the bigger one is bigger than the second one. And for the third one, which is three layers, you just do it the same thing, pin it, and this one, if you can sew it, you take your time and sew it. If you cannot, just use a needle and thread to tag this one down. And if you're using a needle and thread, just sew the down part and attach it to this one. So you can actually use a hot glue for all this. To avoid it moving, you can tack from the down part. Just tack it in such a way that the thread will not be showing outside. Tack each layer, each of them, you tack it with your needle and thread. If you are using a hot glue, you just apply a little amount of hot glue and press it down. So just to raise it up, you apply a drop, just a drop, and place it down. After that, you apply your hot glue and place on top. So you can actually use a hot glue to do all this process, or use your needle and thread, or use your sewing machine, whichever works for you, you do it. So, and after that, if I measure, I will have about 11 inches, which is no more than the width of my front bodice. This is what I have after arranging it and attaching it to each other. I use a little applique on the inside, and for the back side, I just use a wadding and cut round and apply my hot glue to seal up the back. And I will attach this to the front bodice of my dress. For the skirt part, I have my Duchess. I remember I said I just have 1 yard, so I just had to cut out 17 inches. 17 inches for the length, and I cut it out too, and I joined at both sides. So if you have a longer fabric, you don't need all this joining, but me, I had to join at the side to get a longer piece. And I've hemmed the down part. If I hem the down part, I'll end up with 16 inches. So I'll go ahead and gather this down. So before I forget, the full length is 25 inches. So after doing all those things, I'll bring my skirt part and my upper part, and I'll just place them right side facing each other, not with the lining. The lining is separate. I'm placing both the Duchess together, and after that, I'll bring my lining and place my lining. I've already cut out a half circle and attach a hard net. I will attach the video of how I made this hard net to this video. Please watch that out to see how I made this, and I'll attach it to the lining as well, and I'll sew it down. And after that, the next thing is for me to attach my zipper. I also have a video of how I attach zipper on this channel. Please watch it out as well. So after joining my front and my skirt part, the next is to bring my rose and attach it, place it at the middle where it will look fine, and I'll just tack it down at all the edges. And after that, this is what I have. Thank you for watching out to this point, and please click on the subscribe button if you've not, and join this family as I'll be bringing a lot of videos. Thank you and bye.